Hi folks, welcome to the Blacksmith Shop. I'm Lin Rhea for the Historic Arkansas Museum. Today, we've got two things going. We're going to try to weld up a small billet, Damascus. So, in today's terms, it would be a pattern welded or Damascus billet. It's not very big. We are going to try that in our coal fire, which brings up the second point about managing a coal fire. So I really have to concentrate on the fire, but I want to mention that to get a good weld in a coal forge, you have to have it reducing atmosphere. In other words, you can't have a lot of oxygen getting to the workpiece, in this case, where the weld is. And also I have to put some borax on it, so let me do that real quick. So I wanted to get it hot, and I'm sprinkling some borax on the joint where it will melt and wick into the piece. So I'll put plenty on it. Give it a chance to melt and run in, and come back up to the welding temperature. That was not welding temperature, that was just melting temperature for the flux. So now I've got to concentrate on the fire. I don't want my anvil to be too far away, and I don't want it to lose heat when it comes back over here. I've got to use a bigger hammer. This is a slightly bigger hammer than normal. So I'm actually rotating the piece, and I would do that, absolutely do that if necessary on any other weld. I'd absolutely rotate the piece, but the point of it is getting it up to heat at the same time. So if the outside of this stack, and it's not real big, it's pretty small, if the outside of this stack is at welding temperature, but the core of it, the inside, hasn't come up to temperature, it does no good to try to stick it. It won't weld. So the entire piece has to be up to welding temperature for it to work. And this is going to squirt the liquefied borax flux out in all directions. So it can be kind of dramatic. Another thing that makes this pretty interesting and can cause the weld to fail is fresh coal, putting fresh coal on the fire, or in too close proximity to the piece that's going to weld. So now I can tell the surface is welding temperature, but I'm giving it a few puffs, light puffs, making sure it soaks into the core. And you'll notice that there's no smoke. There's hardly any smoke. Any smoke would be an indication of fresh coal being near the piece. That's not good. So we're okay. Another thing that would cause it to fail, there's so many things that can cause it to fail, but another thing would be the material not being compatible. One expanding faster than the other. That will cause it to fail. So we're not sure that the material is actually compatible. So this may fail based on that, but it might just work. So we'll see. The main thing I'm trying to do is make sure the fire, if it fails, the fire is not the reason. I want to give it its best chance. Okay, it's ready. The entire piece, and I want you to notice just how even the heat is and how hot it is. Okay, coming out. Going in a circular pattern. I think my shirt collar is on fire. I'm not sure about that, but I feel heat. Okay, as I hammer the intensity, hang on a second. Yep, it was on fire. Shirt collar was.
It wasn't smoking.
Fire. So I'm gonna go back in the fire. Yeah. Sorry, Kay. I think I ruined the shirt.
We just thought that was your brain working, smoke coming out your ears.
Yeah, I was smelling it burning, and sure enough, I reached up there and it burnt my finger. It's okay, everything's good. And I believe it took. I believe the weld took. But the way we're going to know, of course, is continue to work on it. But another indication that it took is it didn't have any dark shadows in the joints. It stuck. It doesn't appear to have any voids in it. So we got it hot enough. So now we're just going to do the same thing, repeat that, with the exception of the flux, because it's sealed up then. It's sealed up. There won't be any put flux on it. There's no place for it to go. But getting the heat up and maintaining the heat, my cameraman is still laughing. Thanks, Case.
Sorry.
But maintaining the proper heat at welding temperature it takes a little bit of attention. And once you get all this get it to come together, you don't want to waste your chance. So that's why I was so intense on it, and I could stand to lose a shirt if need be. The coal that I'm pushing up, the coke that I'm pushing up is actually coke. It's not fresh coal. So if I need more heat to reflect from the top, then I do it. Certainly will add more coke. There we go. We can also check by hammering on the edge. Nothing appears to be separating. Pressure and heat. Combination of pressure and heat. That's what makes it weld. I see no shadows, no problems. It looks like it welded. Okay, this is a few layers, and it will be narrowed and drawn out, and something will be made from it. But what this represents is welding in the blacksmith shop. Whether you're welding 2 pieces together or 20 pieces together. This probably has 20 pieces, the equivalent of 20 or more pieces in it. But the conditions have to be correct. The heat has to be correct. The timing has to be correct. No matter what you're welding. No matter what. But what we wanted to show was that a coal fire, which was the basis for the early blacksmiths being able to work. That was his fuel. That was his fire. He could manage that. Managing a coal fire is what we're really talking about, the welding aside. So I think it worked, and it worked well. But we'll probably update you with that a little bit later. But that's quite a workout. Even that little billet, you can imagine what it'd be like making a bigger billet or working on something that's really got some mass to it. But we appreciate you joining us here in the shop. We got some exciting things that we're going to plan for the upcoming months. We're still on spurs. We'll get back to that. Got to make some tools, and that may be in an upcoming video. But again, I'm glad you was able to stop in and see what we're doing today in the shop. For the Historic Arkansas Museum, I'm Lin Rhea.